So this morning, I want to do the spark plugs on this. This is my 2014 Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi 392 gears 4x4. And it's been a great truck. It's got just about 95,000 miles. The plugs are due at 100. I figure, what the hell, I've got them. All 16 of the little buggers. So, we'll do them today while I have a few minutes. But I don't want to start it and heat it up. And this truck, its flaw, mainly the one thing I don't like, is you cannot put it in neutral unless it's running. It will not allow you to. So they have on these cars with this 8-speed, the ZF or ZF if you're from anywhere other than here, they've got a park override. Now what you got to do on the 14 trucks, now this could be in other places depending on what kind of car you have, but you got to like pop this hatch off, and you got this little red thing in here. So, but it's got a lock. You know, you need to pull that, but it's got a lock. This little silver thing down here is the lock, and you got to push that with a screwdriver to the right, and now it is out of gear, supposedly. So let's try to move it. Son of a gun. And she sure does move. That absolutely works. Now the horrible part is I'm probably going to injure myself trying to get back in here so I can step on the brakes, because this is taller than most of the stuff that I do. There we go. Alright, now we're cruising out. Little brake. And we're in the daylight. Parking brake. Alright. Now that we got that done, what we can do here is what they say, another two-hand job. You've got to look underneath the thing where that is and push that silver thing in again and latch it. Yeah, push it over to the right again and it'll let you to close it, and now it should be, and it is in park. So that's fairly simple if you know how to do it, but you're going to have to look in your manual under manual park release, somewhere near the transmission, near the shifting, and it will show you exactly how you need to do that if you ever have to move the vehicle with a dead battery or something, because that's the only way this thing will go out of park. And it does say once you've done that and you've got it in this clicked position here, you can tow it, but this truck is four-wheel drive, and the only way you can tow it, like certainly flat tow it, that's not how you can do it. To flat tow it, you have to put it in forward, you know, the transfer case in neutral, and I am not aware that you can flat tow the two-wheel drive trucks, so don't do that. But anyway, on to the spark plugs. So to start, what I think I'm going to do is get this air tube out of the way. And yeah, it looks terrible because our detail guy uses something that gets really sticky. I don't know why, but he does. Okay. Ooh, that's the throttle body, straight down. So we got that out of the way. Now I want to get this cover out of the way. I don't think it has to, but it'll probably make life a little easier. There. And of course, this tube has to come out of the way. There she goes. And now we got a little bit better access to the engine. And you can see why they put that cover on there, because this isn't terribly pretty to look at. But it's not too bad, honestly. And what we've got is, down here we've got 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 plugs on this side, and same on the other side. And so that's what we're going to start to do. After I figure out what size those are, they look like they might be 10mm bolts holding the coil packs on. But we're going to go grab a 10 and start this process. So it is a 10, which is nice. And we got the two-piece latches, which are always a joy. There it goes. There it goes. Not too bad. You pull those 2 bolts out of the coil. There we come out. There we go. I got a nice captured washer, which I'll still somehow manage to lose, I'm sure. I'm doing these 2 first just because it'll be easiest to see on the camera. Disconnect that plug with the double latch. And this should pop out. Nice and sealed. You look at these, see if you got any oil on them, anything terrible looking. We don't. So we can proceed. Come out pretty good. Not bad. Doesn't feel like anything's wrong with the threads, which is good. Yeah. And there she is, a 95,000 mile spark plug. These are NGK's ILZFR5E11s, and then I've got Mopar plugs. LZFR5C11. Not quite the same. Physically, the plugs are identical, although it came with what appeared to be a platinum. And these are nickels. I bought these from a guy who didn't need them. They're right for the 2014 Hemi, but they were rather different. Yep, we're gonna put them in. Here's something. When I'm putting plugs back in a head like this, especially an aluminum one, I use a piece of fuel hose and just stick the plug in that. And then you have a much lower chance of cross-threading it when she goes back in. And no, I don't like using anti-seize on my plugs. There. That's snug. Okay, and the torque says 1/2 to 2/3 of a turn. That's to get the gasket crush. And for that, I have a socket with no rubber donut in it, so you don't leave it behind on top of the plug when you're torquing it down. quarter, half, there. That didn't seem like enough, because it really wasn't not biting at all. There. It's hard to tell where the washer crush first starts. So now we'll do the other one. Ooh, that one's a little crispier on that one coming out. There she goes. Now she loosened up. Oh, yeah. Try that one, dummy. Doesn't look too bad. That felt like now we're on it. So now we're going to go half to 2/3. That felt a little better. I hadn't sucked the other one all the way down up against the washer before I started torquing it. Now we'll see what this works out to be. Yep. 15, just like the other one. So we're going with 15 because that's where it feels good and that's where the torque spec sets. In any case, now take your coil packs, feed them back down on, reinstall the attachment screws. Snug them down, reattach, push the second clip, and you're done. Now you just got to repeat that 7 more times. Doesn't look like they're going to be too bad. The one way in the back is kind of hidden behind this wiring harness, which I may be able to move out of the way, but I may not need to. And then the worst one may be that one over there, which is the rear on the driver's side. Actually looks like it's going to be easiest to get at it from this angle, just laying across the top of the engine. But there does appear to be clearance. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as annoying as my F-150. So that's what we're going to continue doing. And that is how you change the plugs in a fairly late model Chrysler Hemi. And about an hour and a half later, they are all complete. That one way in the back on the right side really wasn't too bad, but you do have to get it from across the engine, kind of going this way. I did end up on some of the ones on this side because of the brake booster and that firewall using this combination just to get the right length so I could get the thing in there. Socket, 3-inch extension, and a universal. And if you have like a 1.5-inch extension, that would be perfect. But you basically have to put it in one at a time
you pull the cover off, you pull the coil off, drop this down, then you plug this in, then you can hook the socket up, loosen it, then you pull it all back out, and you ended up having to get the spark plug out with a magnet. But that went good. This side here really wasn't bad, but had to move this a little bit, and then there's a clip back here on those two hoses, and to get that out of the way, and that made it a lot easier to get that rear one. But nothing too terrible. And so now I'm going to finish it up by putting the covers back on it, the intake tube, and we're going to try the first startup. Okay, she's all back together. Filthy because I'm too lazy to clean it. Let's see if she starts. For a dead cold start, that sounds pretty smooth. That actually sounds better than it had been. A little bit, just quieter for whatever reason. But we're going to call that a success. And that is the fairly simple way to change the 16 spark plugs in a 5.7 Hemi.